Hello guys, today in this video I will teach you step by step on how to make a really nice heavy bass line on Serum, inspired by top dubstep producers like Must Die, Zomboy, and Barely Alive. The concept of this bass line is knowing what frequency modulation does to your sound and what filters can do. Pretty much the job of a filter is to maintain a balance and a tight sound movement. In this video, we will be using a high pass filter and the FM feature from Serum. So why don't we play with this project so you can hear what we will be making. So why don't we start by loading a copy of Serum. Let's open this. So what you want to look up in here is we have oscillator A and oscillator B. So we're going to go and select your waveform. In my case, I decided to use the disc bass dropper on oscillator A. And on B, I'm going to select something like the Matrix C64. So we're going to be using the FM feature in oscillator A. So why don't we start by enabling the FM. You got to make sure you FM from B. Let's turn the levels down in here. And let's set up our LFOs. So let's drop an LFO on FM. Let's bring the levels down. You gotta make sure you put an LFO pretty much on anything, any knob here. That way you're able to control every single feature. And it sounds a little bit more better. So we're also gonna drop an LFO on the wavetable position. When we do this, we're gonna drop another one on oscillator B, wavetable position. We're gonna put it around there. And we're gonna select a band plus featured. We're gonna drag that in there and we're gonna bring it around half. We're gonna bring the octave by 3. And we're gonna bring one semitone down. Just like this. We're gonna enable some noise. In my case, I used DJ 106 because it sounds the best. So it's always what sounds best for you. And you don't want to really copy this whole idea that I'm doing here because you want to be yourself and you want to go ahead and experiment. So I'm going to drag, actually, I'm going to drag it on the levels. Just around there. Let's hear how this sounds. We're gonna bring it around there. So as you can hear, we are already starting to get some really nice sounds from Serum. So let's keep on tweaking this synth. And the next step would be to add more voices. So I'm gonna bring this to 11 and gonna bring the detune down. That way it doesn't sound like all over the place. So I'm gonna bring the bend a little bit down too. The phase, I'm gonna bring it down as well. And then the big feature in this sound is the filter. So in my case, I used a normal filter, a high pass 24. I brought up the resonance just a little bit, the cutoff all the way down to the left. We're also going to be filtering oscillator B. We're going to be filtering the noise as well. So why don't we drag an LFO into the cutoff? And this is how it sounds. I think that's a little bit too much, but let's bring it around there. So now that we got the basic sound, you can always go on yourself and experiment with all the effects that Serum provides, like the hyper dimension. You know, you want to make sure that you add an LFO on them as well. That way it sounds more balanced. You can even add some phaser. Some compression. In this case, I'm going to be using the multiband. And if you want to experiment even more, you can add a second EQ. Something like this. And you can put an LFO in this. That way you can modulate this. Let's bring this all the way down. And if you want to get more creative, you can, you know, speed up the LFO rate or slow it down. So yeah, this is pretty much how I made this sound from my track Game Time. Just remember, you can always use your Ableton Live stock audio effects, and you can be as creative as you can from this. So I hope you guys learned a little bit from this, and if you have any questions, please write them down in the comments.